Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory Post Fight Show. Remember, if you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. If you got a couple of minutes, make sure to also find us on the audio side, wherever you get your shows, podcasts, leave a rate and review because, why wouldn't you? That helps the channel grow. I feel like Isaac Cruz, and I know there's a lot of Isaac Cruz fans. I'm an Isaac Cruz fan, but after this performance where I feel like he could have got Fierro out of here, he didn't. And now I just think he's extremely overrated. Is Isaac Cruz overrated? Like, were you like thrilled by his performance, Bryan? And if you're in the chat, drop your comments. If you want to cuss at me, go ahead. If you're Isaac Cruz fan, you want to tell me
I
I'm
don't know if you
stupid.
want that, but
Well, whatever. I'm dealing with other stuff. Luca just got traded to the Lakers, okay? So if you want to cuss at me, go ahead, throw it in the comments. I know you Isaac Cruz fans love him, but like, is he overrated or am I just tripping out? Because I think he looks overrated, like completely. He's one dimensional, and I feel like he should have knocked out Fierro. I think he was like a minus 2,500 or okay, I'm tripping. He wasn't that, but he was a big favorite.
No, he was minus 1,000. He was minus
Okay, yeah.
1,000 live even, at one point, and he faded in this fight to the point where I was like, yo, this could actually be a draw, which I forget who was doing the fight on Amazon in terms of doing the judges, the unofficial scorecards, where they had this like a draw very late into the bout. I don't remember where it landed. If someone remembers, let me know. But Isaac Cruz, look, I've been lower on Isaac Cruz than consensus. Tyrone comments Cruz has always been overrated, and he knows. Like I think with Isaac Cruz, again, the blueprint was kind of out. I said this ahead of the fight with Rayo Valenzuela. If Raul Valenzuela stands into the pocket, kind of like the same thing I was saying about David Morrell and Dave Benavidez. If you stand in the pocket with this dude, because I actually think there's some similarities with Benavidez and Isaac Cruz. I keep restarting.
I'm sorry. I love Ryan Hogg. He always makes me laugh every post-fight show. Isaac Cruz fights like everyone owes him money. Dude. Oh my god, that's hilarious. He does fight like this is like one of the best comments we've ever gotten on this show. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for that.
To me, he's like 140 David Benavidez, except David Benavidez is a little better. But Isaac Cruz ran into Gervonta Davis. He had a loss before that, by the way, but Gervonta Davis, and he got outboxed. And Valenzuela, same thing, got outboxed. Where same thing I said about Dave Morrell. If you stand in the pocket with this dude being Dave Benavidez, you're going to lose the fight. But Rayo Valenzuela, if you box and actually move and use the height and reach advantage you have over Isaac Cruz and stay out of the way of his body shots and stay out of the way of that overhand right and these deadly left hooks enough to outbox him and get the rounds, and you'll win this fight. And they almost took it from him, split decision, but Valenzuela ended up kind of exposing him in some regard, winning that fight. Rolly Romero was just a tailor-made, perfect matchup. And he even has some success outboxing Isaac Cruz at times. One judge even had Rolly ahead at the time he got stopped against Isaac Cruz. Rolly just, he's pretty chinny. And the Gio Cabrera fight, which we've talked about before, like that performance, that could have easily been a Gio
Don't
Cabrera
say that. The Pitbull Cruz fans are going to come for you.
Yeah.
Like they did all week when you said that. They like hated us for like, they were just leaving the most mean comments.
I mean, and in this fight, he takes a step down in competition because he just got outboxed by Jose Valenzuela and he lost the fight. I mean, and he barely won the fight. He could have lost the fight because I don't know what, like 98-92 in this fight was kind of crazy. 97-93, I don't even see that. Like to me, a draw would have been very justifiable. And Fierro, of course, like he came in there probably knowing that he needed to get a knockout to get a fair shake or knockdowns to get a fair shake. But he showed his mettle. He showed why he's tough. And I think Pitbull Cruz is an entertaining fighter. And he's the guy you could put on a card and he could sell. But he has a ceiling. And we've seen who he can excel against and who he's going to struggle against ultimately. And what styles, like at 140, we've talked about, speaking of weight classes that need a tournament, 140 needs a tournament because there's a lot of dudes who are super competitive with one another. There's rumors about Teofimo Lopez and Richardson Hitchens, and I legitimately don't know what I'm going to do if that fight gets made. But like Isaac Cruz, if you go down the list of these guys at 140, like are you picking them to beat Devin Haney or Teofimo Lopez or Richardson Hitchens, even Subriel Matias right now? Arno Barbosa, that's not an easy one given his last performance. Neither is Neither is what's this dude's name? Liam Paro. I don't know why I just forgot about him all of a sudden, although he lost his last fight. But you saw what he did against Subriel Matias. He could do that against Isaac Cruz as well, who's smaller. You know what I mean? Jack
Yeah.
Catterall as well. Like these would be tough fights
Yo,
for Isaac Cruz.
okay. So this is how much I think Isaac Cruz is overrated. If you watch the show, you know how I feel about Jack Catterall. I would take Jack Catterall in that fight. Like I would say Jack would win in that fight by unanimous decision. I don't think Isaac Cruz can beat Richardson Hitchens. I don't think he can beat Subriel Matias. I think he knocks out George Kambosos. I don't think he beats Liam Paro. I don't think he beats. Do you think he beats Gary Antoine Russell?
Mm.
That's a tough fight.
Gary Antoine Russell fights.
He's a good fighter, dude.
He fights Valenzuela in March, and I would a month from now.
Valenzuela, but that's a tricky fight. You could take Gary Antoine Russell Jr. in that fight.
The winner of that fight,
yeah,
Alberto Puello versus Isaac Cruz, who wins?
Alberto Puello. I think Puello is arguably the most underrated fighter in this division.
Are we crazy, guys? Are we too down on Isaac Cruz?
If you need to call me a stupid bee, let me know. This is the day because the Lakers just got Luka Doncic. Like, am I tripping out here? I think Sandor Martin beats Isaac Cruz. I think Arnold Barbosa Jr. beats Isaac Cruz. I think Jose Ramirez could beat Isaac Cruz.
Okay, I don't know about Jose Ramirez.
Hey. Don't know Jose Ramirez.
Not this version.
At 140 pounds, though? At 140 pounds, Jose Ramirez was almost undisputed until he fought Josh Taylor.
To your point that you're making, Isaac Cruz at 140.
That'd be a great fight. Oh, wow. That I would pay money to see that fight. Isaac Cruz and Jose Ramirez, sign me up. I don't even care who wins. That's actually an entertaining fight.
Isaac Cruz at 140. It's 3 fights. It's Rolly Romero, it's Valenzuela, and it's Fierro. And did he impress you in the Rolly Romero fight, chat?
Isaac Cruz?
Yeah. Chat, what do you, because to me, I feel like Shantelle, like we talked about this, like there's moments that he impressed you in that fight, but if Isaac Cruz, if you let him as the opponent, if you let him just do what he does, which is just maul you, then yeah, it's going to be an Isaac Cruz fight, like kind of like with David Benavidez, but David Benavidez I think has more skill than Isaac Cruz. Like defensively, he's not bad like the way some of his critics might say. Like he can get hit absolutely, but he can show some defense. But yeah, I think there's a bunch of guys that would be Isaac Cruz. So I'm curious to see what his next matchup would look like. Are they going to move him up in competition, or is he going to face another dude like this? Like what's his next move? If you look at the PBC guys, it's probably one of the guys we just talked about. He's probably going to get the winner of Valenzuela and Gary Antoine Russell. If Gary Antoine Russell wins, maybe he gets Puello or Sandor Martin, the winner of that. Like that's probably what he's looking at. They're going to give him another title shot because he's popular.
And you know what? It makes sense in terms of money. Like I think in boxing, you have to have like 2 things. You got to be good. You got to be someone that's a legit fighter. Pitbull Cruz is legit. He's just one-dimensional, but you also have to have a crazy fan base. Pitbull Cruz can sell out. Like he's got a crazy fan base. They travel for him. They love him. And like, let's give him that because I don't think there's too many stars like that in boxing. Pitbull Cruz has that. And so he does have that aspect and a lot of other fighters don't. So let's give him some credit. I just think he's a little bit one-dimensional and maybe I expect a little bit more from him, but it's just because I'm looking at his fights and I'm like, I think I could have seen a knockout. Like maybe I just expect too much from him. And maybe that's why I'm disappointed.
So Isaac Cruz right now, ranked 4th by the WBA. So Jose Valenzuela has that title. Right now, we'll see if he makes a jump. If Gary Antoine Russell wins, I think it's right there to make Gary Antoine Russell versus Isaac Cruz, which is a fun fight. He's also still ranked at 135 by the WBO and WBC. I don't know if he's going to drop back down. But if you want to give me Shakur Stevenson versus Isaac Cruz, if Isaac Cruz were to drop back down, I will take that. I just have a feeling I know how that's going to go.
Can I just be honest? Like that fight would be so boring to me because Isaac Cruz would be like stalking him and Shakur would just be like on back foot, jab, twice in a round. Like he wouldn't be able to touch Shakur.
This is a take. Tyrone Colbert might beat Cruz. This is after Orlando says Pitbull versus Colbert. He'll beat Colbert.
Yeah,
Colbert's in knockout city right now. Hustle man, Pitbull should go back to 130. Pitbull should go back to 135.
I like
His
it.
power isn't there at 140. Pitbull versus Keyshawn Davis.
I'm not mad at that. I think that's a great fight.
It's not a gimme that Keyshawn Davis wins his next fight, but I do expect him to beat Baranchyk. But Baranchyk is good. By the way, Baranchyk versus Isaac Cruz. That'd be a fun fight.
I think
Also,
Baranchyk is going to give Keyshawn some problems.
me too.
I don't think that's an easy fight for
we're
Keyshawn.
sleeping
But
on
if
Baranchyk a little bit.
but if Keyshawn gets it done,
Yeah.
dude, like he gets the most props because I don't think that's an easy fight for him, and I think Baranchyk could win that fight. He's very skilled, you guys, like extremely skilled.
Arlando says Cruz is done. That's really my point. He will not be fighting anyone with an established name.
Great take.